Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is quite a doozy where I am. This weather is not playing any games. It is so cold. It is so cold. So I know for those that are where the warmer climate is, I know you can appreciate the winters being seasonably warm. Yeah, because I've been saying it for the last few weeks when we were doing like that up and down, to where some of the um, days were warm and some of the days weren't. Yeah, I can really appreciate those warm days. Hey, honey, thank you for being here. Yeah, yeah. So I am trying to get into the groove of the day. It has been a long day so far. So I am really trying to uh really trying to wake up and shake off the cobwebs today. Shake off the cobwebs today. So I hope everybody's been having a good day so far. I hope everybody's been having a good day so far. Yeah, of course my phone is jumping right now. Um yeah, my day started off really early today. So a different type of Sunday for me. Yeah. But here. Um my lovely co-host should be joining us really soon. Last week she was not feeling well. Hey Marilyn, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Yeah. Yeah, she wasn't feeling good last week, and I'm so glad that she's feeling a lot better because it's so much going around. It's so much going around. So I've been like literally fighting out here to try to fight whatever's going around, try not to let it take me down. So, and that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. You really have to, try to keep your immune system built up and stuff, because these flus and these pneumonias and all this stuff is not playing. It's not playing. So many people are like literally being affected by it around me, and yeah, I'm just like praying that it doesn't get me too. It does not get me too. Yeah, but I appreciate y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all for being here. Yes, so we're gonna get ready to dive into our topic today. So this is one that you know, is very, very relatable, like something that really hits home for me. Really hits home for me. Um, and it's about being single and raising children. Yes. Yeah, I know this is a very touchy topic. Hey sister, how are you?
Hey, sorry I'm late.
Yeah, we're just getting started, just doing a little small talk right now.
Yeah,
So yeah, we about. So how you doing today? How's your day going so far?
pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, they had just got done making some banana pancakes. They took a little bit longer than I thought.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, did you do it with the real banana or just the flavoring?
Yep, I used what's that? Just three ingredients. Well, actually, I did four. I did oats, banana, and I used eggs. I used one egg and some egg replacer. Yeah,
Okay,
and then I added a little milk in there too.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Oh,
so
look
that
at
turned
you
out
going
pretty
all out,
good. Yeah.
going all out.
Yeah, yeah. I usually gotta be making like the oatmeal cookies. So I figured I'd just like throw it in a pan today and see how it worked as a pancake.
Nice, nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you for coming in, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Yeah,
Hey, hey.
yeah. It's great to see a lovely face today. Yeah, I was letting everybody know that you were not feeling the best.
Oh
That's
yeah.
yeah. Glad you're feeling better. Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're about to dive into this topic, child.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, as I said, our topic is going to be, you know, about being single and raising children, pretty much single parenting, which
Mhm.
people can relate to,
Oh
including us,
yeah.
including us. So they say single parenting is when a person raises a child or children without a spouse or a living partner to help.
Right.
And it's different reasons for single parenting, like
Right.
including like divorce. It's a
Mhm.
like totally relatable, totally relatable. Separation, relatable, right? Even like a death of a parent. Sometimes you end up being a single parent. If another parent passes away, you know
Right.
that's big too. That's really big. Not married. That's life. You have
Mhm.
children and you're not married to the partner and things like that. So that's big.
Mhm.
Um, Childbirth by a single person. You know, um, I know, like especially in our society now, that a lot of people are choosing to be single. You know,
Mhm.
they're like, I don't need a parent or co-parent. Like I
Mhm.
want a child and I'm going to make it happen, right?
Mhm.
And it's the same thing with single parent adoption. You know,
Right.
so it's different ways that you can be considered a single parent. And it says single parenting is common in the United States, very
Yeah, I
common.
imagine so.
Right. And they said like the percentage of children living in single parent families have increased since the 1960s.
Yeah, because America is like, where you can kind of do what you want. I mean, it's a lot of
Right.
freedom and of choice and stuff. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Hey Kim, thank you for coming in. Appreciate
Hi.
you here.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, like I said, in the United States they said it's big. And I can literally see that. I can literally see that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And they said that it's different ways that households could be ran by a single parent. So when you think about single parenting, like you might think of like a mom, a single mom, or single dad. But they said that it could be a mom, a dad, it could be a grandparent,
Mhm.
or it could be an aunt, right? So
Mhm.
it's different ways that you could be considered a single parent. And I
Right.
know a lot of grandparents step in,
Mhm.
parents. That's huge now. That's
Yeah.
really grandparents are starting all over becoming parents.
Yeah, I feel
To
like I seen that a lot too when we was growing up. What I mean, you see like a lot of, children that be living with the grandparent,
hmm
like you said, instead of, necessarily with their parents.
yes, 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 yes. Yeah, taking
Mhm.
taking on that parent role, raising kids all over. Yep,
Yeah.
even another sibling. Yes, yes, yes. Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, because how we always talk about when we were growing up, and how I took on like that a lot of that parental role.
Yeah.
So I might not have been old enough to like have my children or whatever, but I still took on that parental role with my siblings and stuff.
Right.
So like it's different ways to be classified as a single parent. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and they said they actually got like tips to like help a single parent. So let's see what those tips are, right?
Yeah.
I said that you can take care of yourself, like make time for physical activity, do
Mhm.
healthy eating, and sleep. So, that sleep one for me is a sleep one for me because sometimes it's hard, like
What's
when
that?
being a single parent. I'm for real fortunate enough to have grown children now, but I remember
Mhm.
when the kids were young, when the kids were younger, like how tough that was, like how tough that was,
What's
right?
that?
That when they
You might
said
like.
being able to like really like take care of yourself, and
Oh
they said
yeah.
making time for like the physical activity and stuff. Because I know for me, like the kids were always in stuff. They were always in stuff, like whether it was like sports, whether they were doing like after school activities, having events like plays and musicals. Like I felt like I was pulled in so many different directions
Mhm.
when they were younger, that I really didn't have a lot of time for me to do what I wanted to do, for me
Yeah.
as a parent, because there was always so much going on. And you know how you pour a lot into your children, and you feel like you're lacking, you're losing a lot of things that you need to do for you. So
Yeah. And it's like you're doing all that pouring because, it's like you're trying to make sure that they're like okay and stuff,
yes,
you know what I mean? When it's like just you by yourself and
yes,
stuff. So it's like you pouring, 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 you almost feel guilty when you do something for yourself.
that part. part. That part. I was like, oh man, yeah. So, but they said that like a good tip is to like you take care of yourself, right? And they
Yeah.
said, you could schedule some time away from the child to replenish your energy. But a lot of times that's
Mhm.
not even doable. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of times it's not doable when you have like really young kids. I think for me it got easier as the kids got older. You know,
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
pull
when they was
myself.
little, my first time like being away from them for a while, I was crying. It was like I was constantly on the phone trying to make sure they was okay. Do they have this? Do they got that? It was like I was stressing out being away from them.
Oh man, I think for me, like because I was a young mom, and I really didn't get the chance to do things that I should be doing, at my age. When you're in your early 20s and stuff, and you want to live your life, and it's hard to really do that when you do have like young children at home, because then
Mhm.
you got to worry about, like you said, the babysitters and things in that nature and stuff. So it was
Right.
like whenever I could get like a babysitter, somebody watch my kids, it was like okay, good.
Yeah.
Like woo, have some fun. I can't say that I had like that crying moment, but I will have those moments where like I will always be calling and checking in, be like, how they doing, this, that, and the other. But
Mhm.
yeah, but I felt like that, I didn't really get to live life like I wanted to when I
Right.
when I became a mom. So
Yeah.
so they say be kind to yourself. Like practice self compassion and remember that you're doing your best when you're a single parent.
Yeah. Gotta
Absolutely.
give yourself grace.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like being a single parent, like you literally like trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure it out. And sometimes you might not feel like that you're like doing the best or making the best choices and things. You out here like I got these little people or little person to take care of, and I didn't get a playbook. Like I
Right.
always say, like I didn't get a playbook. Did not get a playbook, but sometimes it just comes like natural to you, or you might have had someone that you can kind of see as a role model and see how they did things, stuff like that. So, but yeah, but
Right.
it's definitely be kind to yourself. Give yourself some compassion. Building a support system.
Got to.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's like, it takes a village and we be out here trying to do it by ourselves.
It takes a village. Oh my
Mhm.
god. Oh my god. And it's tough when you don't really have that support system. When you
Yeah.
don't, oh my god, like I feel so. bad for people that's like literally don't have anybody in their corner to like help them when they're like raising the children, things like that. You have to take time to live, even if better now. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So that's tough. Like that support system for me is a big one. It's a big one because a lot of people are not that fortunate to have that support system. You know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's
that support can like come in many different ways too. Sometimes it's just like another single parent.
yes.
You
Yep.
know, too.
Yep. Yep. They said find support from family and friends. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. You don't understand. Like, you don't understand how like how like instrumental these things are. Like until you become a parent, then it's like, oh my god, like what would I have done without this person or these people in my life? Like what would I have done? You know,
Right. Yeah.
it definitely makes you get a newfound appreciation. You know,
Mhm.
as opposed to being single, living your life with no responsibilities. Then you have somebody dependent on you, and then it's like, oh my goodness, you know. So
Right.
you definitely need somebody to be there to support. Um, I said like setting routines, like when you are a single parent and you have young children that are dependent on you, like scheduling meal times and chores and bed.
Mhm.
That part for me, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it was rough because I would have dinner at a certain time, and it's like okay, it's important that we all sit down, we eat together, you have dinner. Then it was like I had the list. All right, you one day this is your dish day, this is your day to
Right.
do fun. Like everybody had that list of chores, and I remember
Mhm.
your niece and nephew would they would be negotiating their chore days. I would be it up. They're
Mhm.
like, okay, well, tonight my dish night. If you do my dishes, I'll do yours the next night. I used to be like, I don't care how y'all negotiated, but long as it gets done. So
You know what? Chores used to be hard for me because they
yeah,
had so much homework. They had
yeah,
so much homework, and and it was like um trying to figure out what to prioritize, and it's like I was trying to prioritize education, and they doing homework all night. So I'll be like, all right, I'll be letting them skip dish night here or skip this chore here, you
uh-huh.
know. And then
Hmm.
but yeah, they learn how to play on that though too.
Yeah, I'm cracking up.
Yeah, they learn how to play on that.
I got
Yeah,
too
but
much.
it's like, like you said, you're trying to figure it all out, what I mean, and trying to take care of your own self, and then to have these other little people to take care of is like, yeah, gets
Um,
to be a lot.
Child. Woo.
Yeah.
They said like making that routine, and then like you said, you trying to get through the homework and make sure they got their little chores and making sure they get to bed on time. Oh my god, I
Mhm.
remember just being like so worn out between
Mhm.
working and going through, making sure the kids are good, and then it's like I'm zonked. So it's like you don't understand like how single parenting can really like affect your life.
Mhm.
Um, like talking with your children, like letting children know about the changes in families and allowing them to talk about their feelings are big in single
Mhm.
parents. Very big, very big. Which I totally agree with that. Because sometimes it can be challenging for the kids, and being able to like talk to them about it and just say, this is what it is. I'm doing my best and things like that.
Yes.
It makes it
Yeah.
easier.
I used to tell them, like, look, like I'm learning right along with you. They say, like, I ain't
Right,
never had a child your age before.
right, exactly, exactly,
I was like, I'm
exactly.
figuring this out as we go along.
Right.
And
Like,
I never tried to act like I knew everything too. It'd be like, look, yeah, what I mean? So that way I feel like I needed their understanding.
I know, like, yeah, kids are very smart. They're very, very smart, right? And I think having that transparent moment with them like really helps them understand that okay, all right, so
Yeah.
I'm willing to work with mom or dad with this because
Yes. But
I
look,
know
we all trying to figure this out together.
we're getting together. Yes, yes, yes.
Mhm.
Um. Oh, and the big one for me was like following the quality childcare. Oh my goodness!
Mm.
Like when you got these little people, it's like, where do you like? Who you gonna have to watch the babies? Where you gonna see your babies? And the one thing, childcare is so expensive. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, and then it's like, are you putting them in the best place or like who's gonna be caring for your kids? Like,
Yeah.
well, yes, yes, you do, Marilyn. Yes, yep.
Mhm.
So yeah, that child care is ridiculous. Oh my god,
I remember
like
feeling like I was working just to pay childcare.
hey, child
It
care
was
just
like what? It was yeah. It was like I'm
oh
paying
my
my rent and childcare, and that's it.
child. Childcare is
Mhm.
ridiculous. Childcare is ridiculous. Like, and I
Thank
see why
you.
a lot of like
Thank you.
parents choose to stay home because it be too much just to pay
Yeah.
for care. Like, oh
Right.
my god, I can't even. But the question saying, can a single parent raise a successful child?
I say hell yeah.
That part,
Yes. Yeah.
yes, all day.
Mhm.
Hey,
Mhm.
yep. And they said yes, a single parent can raise a successful child. Um, Many factors contribute to a child's success. While having two parents can provide certain advantages, single
Mhm.
parents also create a supportive and nurturing environment that fosters
Yeah.
development. That
Mhm.
that that part, yes.
Yes.
It's been many times that I said like feel like so blessed and fortunate. Like God, I thank you for giving me the wisdom to be able to raise these little people the way they needed
Right.
to be raised. Like I always
Mhm.
for that. Always give thanks. Because like you said, I didn't have a playbook and didn't have a guide to tell me. But it was
Mhm.
like you gave me that knowledge and that wisdom to raise these kids the right way. So
Mhm.
I totally agree with that. You can raise successful children. Um, And they said, but how does being raised by a single parent affect the child? So
Mhm.
they said that sometimes it can have potential like psychological effects, like emotional and behavior issues with kids
Mhm.
raised by a single parent. So what do you think about that?
Um, I agree. I mean, I think that, in certain ways that they might need a little more work, what I'm saying, with certain things because um I don't know, it's like I think if you look at it like a lack, it'll be a lack, you
Right.
know. But like you said, like that open communication and stuff, and having like that support system, coaches,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's uncles or siblings or stuff like that,
Hmm.
they find it in other ways, you know.
Right. Right.
Um, but yeah, it's like, sometimes you can see it, I think that sometimes like, young women that go without their fathers may feel like
Hmm.
a lack of protection,
Right.
in certain
Right.
ways and stuff. And, and it's like you kind of might see that displayed in their relationships and stuff as they grow older,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Um,
Right.
yeah. Yeah, like I remember, like just being younger and um what I mean, like being around guys, especially like since I was in the military too, and you would hear
Hmm.
guys sometimes that'd be like, "Oh, what I mean, like, you know, I'm looking for that vulnerable girl or something, what I mean, girl,
Ah,
that'll be like, I'm looking for that vulnerable girl, the ones with daddy issues, type of stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
girl.
They looking for somebody to take advantage of. You know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? They figure that like that them girls that didn't have their father are
Hmm.
you know, more
Yeah.
susceptible to like, them certain issues and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's real talk. That's real talk. especially
Mhm.
like the young women that don't have, like you said, the fathers in their life, and they tend to gravitate towards men like for that father figure, or or they might pick the wrong men in their life or something because they weren't shown what like a man should what a man should do or look like and things like that. So, whew,
Right.
yeah, like
Right.
it happens. It happens all the time. And they said that
Yeah.
like from single parent households might experience like higher rates of anxiety and depression. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. So just by you
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about how did you be, I'm what?
Yeah, it's like the mom might be under more stress, as far as like trying to like work and, maintain like both aspects of the household,
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah, I think it does put a strain on
Uh,
the household.
Thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Um, yeah. So they say like, is it possible to raise a child as a single parent? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think, if raising them to be, well rounded and stuff, I mean, children understand, they
Right.
grow up, they understand, like I said, they see it a lot in other
Thank you, Marilyn.
people, you
Yeah.
know. Yep, they learn
Mhm.
how to, learn from their own example, learn from the examples of other folks and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I think it's like having educating them, and and like you said, and being transparent, you
Yeah.
know, being
Yes.
transparent with them. That was one thing I definitely used to just talk to my daughters and stuff, what I mean, about um fatherlessness and stuff, I
Mm.
mean. I actually
Yeah.
had wrote like a whole presentation about it when I was in college, because it was just one of the things that, like that I was dealing with. I mean,
Mhm.
when we talk about like fatherless America, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
um, I forget, it was a book about it. I think it's but the book might be called Fatherless America.
Okay.
But
Okay. Yeah.
and and just talking about like just that impact on people, particularly Black culture and
Yes.
stuff, what I mean, and just what it has done to our communities. And and it's like, because we need those examples, and it's like when you had that example of like a good dad, and I'm saying, and that, that little girl, I mean, being able to be a daddy's girl, I mean,
Mhm.
being able to be called princess and stuff like that, I mean, when she's little, and
Exactly.
those different things and stuff. Yeah, what I'm saying? It's just it does, it has an impact, what I mean? And when it's not there, it's like, yeah, like you said, it may be something that they look for, later on, without unconsciously, not even realizing that
Yep.
that's something that you're looking for.
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I remember like us growing up and it's like having a dad, but like didn't have him like full time. Not
Mhm.
full time, right? So it's like, I know I have a dad and I could like pick up the phone and call him, but it wasn't the same. It's not like having like him to like see him every
In the
day,
household.
household, feeling his presence
Mhm.
like that, because
Mhm.
primarily we were raised by mom,
Right.
even though we had
Mhm.
a dad. So it's definitely a big difference. And I think it probably affected the way that I picked men, and
Mhm.
it could be either like a good or a bad thing. Like I knew what I would be looking for in a man because I did have a dad to
Mhm.
show me what like a real man is, but they weren't. I didn't see it like didn't see all the time, So I
Right.
didn't live my day-to-day life with them.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
was like,
and we still had, our mother's example,
right, we still
too.
right, exactly, exactly. So,
Yeah.
and it's funny because we always laugh. I laugh about it now because I'm like, okay, I had a husband that's a lot like my dad, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and like it's just crazy. It's crazy. And I remember growing up, be like, yeah, I want a good guy, just like my dad, and do X, Y, Z and stuff, and was found in troll. It's like,
Mhm.
stuff guys that daddy would not approve of, you know. So it's so weird. Like you like you have that absent father. You have them, but it's like when by their presence to not be there to like when somebody comes knock at your door and say, we're gonna have a
So even
talk. Like
examine them.
examine them. Be like,
Right.
no, it's not good for. It's like these are the things that you need as a daughter growing up. Like,
Mhm.
nope, he no good. Nope, he can't come over. He can't take you out. Stuff like that. You know,
Mhm.
those were the little missing pieces of it. Those were the missing pieces for me. So by the time I would, get into relationships and stuff, and then try to introduce me to dad, and dad would shut it down and be like, "Well, why you don't like him?" Oh,
Mhm.
and recognize the states and another thing. But you don't understand it as a young lady. It's like, men recognize, but other men are full of it and stuff like that. You know.
Mhm.
But it takes you to go through the trial and error, you know, to
Yeah.
realize and find out that whoever you were dating were not good for you and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And I had the fortunate, opportunity to, spend a lot of time with my dad as well. And but my father, he wasn't like the typical, like upstanding type of dad though either. You know what I'm saying? And so
uh,
his example, just the way that he was, I remember thinking like, I don't want to deal with nobody like that. you know, what I mean? I feel like, and he would tell you the type of person that he is, and
right,
I just felt like I was able to spot that sort of stuff a mile
by,
away.
by the
I feel
way,
like I learned so much from him and learned what to avoid about
right,
men.
uh-huh,
Yeah, I
right,
just feel like it sent me in a total opposite direction. You
run, run,
know,
run.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, but it's like unconsciously though, it's like it's like somewhere in there, what I mean? It's like, the people that, that I was seeing, it was like they still had some of him though. What I
yeah,
mean? It's like, what I
right,
mean? It's like it's like what you're trying to run away from, it's like you still end up attracting it, you
right,
know.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's wild. Someone
Yeah.
said that how come fathers are not a part of their children? I am a father, and I should not think that I'm growing up without them. I know that's right. Love that. Love
Mm,
that. Right. Being
mhm.
present. Being present. Love that.
Right.
Love that. Just
It's
having to be.
important.
Yeah. So, but they said like, is it difficult to raise a child as a single mother? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely can be. What I mean?
yeah.
It's, depending on, your needs, um, like, what I mean? It doesn't have to be. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't have to be,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're financially sound and, yeah, I mean, you have like the proper amount of support and things like that and stuff, around you. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to be at all.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, yeah, yeah, because there's a lot of really wonderful people out here that that step up and help out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yep. And they said that like raising a child is difficult even in a two parent.
Exactly.
I'm like,
That part.
yeah,
I was
that
waiting
part,
for that. I
that
was
part.
waiting for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like for single parents, the task can be Herculean, right? Because you
Mhm.
got to put on your armor and be able to do everything. Yep. It said that they not only have to do double the work,
Mhm.
fill the role as mother and the father of the child, but they also face multiple challenges from their day to day life.
Yeah.
Um, when
Mhm.
playing in that role, honey, 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 honey. Oh my goodness. I could think of many times when I just be like, I would love to be able to clone myself, you know,
Right.
or have you. Oh my God, like when
Mhm.
I say this, the struggle would be real a lot of times, especially how like I had talked about the kids being in so many different activities and things and trying to be at the same place at the same time was
Mhm.
difficult. Very, very hard. Very, very hard.
Mhm.
You know, you have to get the parent teacher conferences. They both got them going on at the same time. And it's like trying to do that juggling act like, okay, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to figure this out?
Right.
You know,
How can
trying
I
to,
split myself?
exactly, exactly. Like it was so many times that I was like, I would love to just clone myself, like literally,
Mhm.
because they have a dad, but it's like it wasn't that dynamic where I could be like, okay, can you go take care of this, and I'll go take care of that. It wasn't that kind of dynamic, you know.
Right.
So it's like you that single parent thing like really like heightens because you're doing everything. You're doing mom and dad roles because like it's crazy how when you have the children that you end up like doing a lot more unless that other parent is willing to meet you halfway with everything.
Yeah,
It's
that's when co-parenting kicks in. You know what I mean?
right,
If you have a good co-parent,
right.
then
Yeah. Like it
yeah.
makes it really tough. It makes it really tough. I know it was tough for me. I used to get so frustrated a lot of times to where like, oh my God, like I just wish he would step up. I wish he would step up. I wish
Yeah.
burden off me. Like, why am I always the one running like a headless chicken all the time? You know?
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
it
for
it
me,
does.
it was the financial burden sometimes. It was like, man, it's like I'm, taking care of all these things on my own, and it was like, wow, just, wishing that there was somebody else there, what I mean, to help out with that part, you know?
Child, no,
Yeah.
no.
Mhm.
I felt like if it wasn't for like the kids' grandparents like being like involved that would like help
Mhm.
like when the kids needed things, like I don't know what I would literally would have done in a lot of
Right.
situations, or what I literally would have done. So it's like even though their presence weren't there, they didn't show up like they needed to really show up where I needed them the most. Like, but in the background, I feel like the father's parents were stuffing in a lot, and I was
Mhm.
very conflicted because I'm like, all right, well, why is your parents or the grandparents doing your job
Mhm.
while they're taking up all the slack when this is your kid? You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
I used to struggle with that a lot. Like it's not their job, but they were willing to step. You know,
Yeah.
take up
Yeah.
for them.
And that's how, because I went through some of that too. And it took me a while to really appreciate it at
Right.
first, but I realized like they were just stepping in, like, look, we see the situation, what I mean, and we're
Mhm.
being supportive, we're being part of your village, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And at first it was like I felt like, they was doing too much, or what I mean, or it
Right.
was like,
Right.
you know
Right.
what I'm saying? It was like, can I raise my child, kind of thing and stuff. But it
Part.
was just like I came to a point where I was like just extremely, extremely thankful, for them, because like that stepping in, that helping out, I have never had to buy anything for my son. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
never had to, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it was just like no matter what he needs is there, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's just like, always giving thanks and praise, what I mean, for that, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah. That's
I'll be
what
like,
like
give thanks for the village.
yeah, right. Right. Like I said, like I used to like really struggle with that. And then it's like, but like you said, as time going, you like, oh my God, like I'm so grateful. I appreciate
Mhm.
that, for
Yes.
what I have done without them. Stepping in,
Right.
and being that support.
Yeah.
Yeah, like them little things I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, well,
Mhm.
dad's playing the background, but the grandparents stepped up in the play. So I can't
Mhm.
be mad at
Yep,
that.
and I just look at it like the angels, and stuff. I remember like, how in the Bible and stuff, and you know me, like grandma and grandpa, they used to always say, you know, God don't come when you want him, but he's always right on time. You know what I
Yeah,
mean, kind of thing. And so
yeah,
sometimes it is like it may not come in a form and a package that you want, but it
right,
comes. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And yeah, yeah.
That's to give thanks. Yes. Um. So the question asks, do kids do better with single moms or single dads?
Hmm.
That's
That's
like
a
that
tough
$1 million question.
one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one. You know what I'm saying? Because okay, you know what I mean? So, you know, so I spent that time, you know, with mommy.
Uh huh.
And you know, and I spent that time with my dad.
Uh
And
huh.
I did feel like my father was doing a better job despite even though um, you know, he wasn't like, you know what I mean? And one of the reasons why I feel like he was doing better because I just feel like he cared more as far
Mm.
as, you know, like when I was getting in trouble and stuff, you know what I mean? It just seemed like it was too much for mommy. Like mommy was like, oh, you know, like just kind of like
Uh,
whatever, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even think he took me back to school after being suspended. You know what I mean? With my dad, like I saw he cared about my grade stuff. Like I was on honor roll and everything. I don't remember being on honor roll not one time with mommy. You know what I mean? It was like no, like I almost failed a bunch of times, you know. But with my dad, it was like no, like you're going to, you know, do well. You're going to make something of yourself. You know what I mean? It was like he was just, you know, it seemed like he cared about what happened to me and you
Mm-hmm.
know. So, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? It's just only speaking just from my own, you know, experience. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
thought my dad, you know, he didn't do a great job, but I did feel like he tried to do his best,
His
you
best.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because he was in his own mind, he was thinking like, "Okay, I have to be mom and dad." You know what I
Right.
mean? Even though he didn't know how to be either. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
But, you
Yeah.
know, it was like he was putting some effort into it, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
But but with my own children, I feel like I would say moms, you know what I'm saying? Because, I don't think that their fathers could have done what I've done
Child.
by a
Yeah.
long shot.
That part.
You know
That part.
what
It's like dad's there, but if you put that responsibility on them and see how they handle, it, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Put that
right.
responsibility on them, how they handle. It.
Yeah.
Like child, yeah. I know for mommy, she like like you said, like I think motherhood was like very overwhelming in a lot of
Yeah,
situations. You know, and having a lot of children and not having that guy to playbook herself. You know, she was
right.
figure it out. You know, trying to work and just and it was like that's why I felt like I came in as being the oldest, like taking over and stepping in her shoes a lot. You
Mhm.
know, to be that support system that she really didn't have, you know,
Yeah.
giving up a lot of like my childhood to make sure like my siblings were good, you know. So, but they said like children living with single mothers were the most social economically disadvantaged children.
Mm.
So it said while children were living with their single fathers were better off social economically than children living with their single mothers, they were relatively disadvantaged compared to
Right.
their right. So
And see, and that was the thing. It's like my father, he was more financially stable, you know,
exactly,
too. So
exactly,
it was like, you know, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I basically had whatever I needed,
right,
you know.
right,
Um, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's like it definitely put me in a better situation in that way.
yeah. That's what I could see. They said like the children might have been doing better, socioeconomically with the fathers, but they end up better off with the single mom. I can totally relate. No, just by us having the same mom and different dad. I did feel better off when dad would step in. That
Mhm.
I would have everything that I needed. You know, um,
Mhm.
I didn't really want for anything.
Right.
And that's when I could really appreciate my grandparents. Dad's parents, like they were very instrumental in making sure that me and Jackie had everything. Um, like we would do our, our school shopping. They would make sure we had everything to go back to school. On Christmas, do
Mhm.
get new for Christmas. Like we always had something new, so we really didn't want in that aspect. And I always thank God for that. That we had that, because I'm like,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
like oh my God,
Mhm.
so like
Yeah.
I could really appreciate like having the grandparents like step in, on all
Yeah.
levels, like with my own children, and then having grandparents that were involved in care when I was young growing up.
Right. Right.
So they did a lot of things in the absence of dad. So you know
Mhm.
that village child.
Yeah, I'm like, let's give it up for the grandparents.
Yeah. And I think about it as being a grandparent myself. It's like
Mhm.
be no question to whether or not I would step in and do parenting all over again. If
Right.
something happened to one of my kids and I had to step in the role of taking care of their child, I would absolutely do it.
Mhm.
Absolutely do it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
No questions asked.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and that's why I really be feeling like thankful like for the grandparents and stuff that really like are able to do that,
Right.
because some grandparents are not able to do that, and then it,
True.
it, it really gets that
Mhm.
sticky situation to okay, now who's going to take
Yeah.
things
And
like
some
that.
of them don't want to. I know people, that, like they got pregnant and got kicked out the house, because their parent was just like, "You did what? Okay, you grown, going out there and create a life for yourself." And I
Right.
always thought that was like the most horrible, horriblest thing, to do to a young woman.
Yes, that
For her to be like kicked out of the house, pregnant and stuff, what I mean? It's like you just asking for disaster, what I mean, for your child and your grandchild, when you do stuff like that. But I've seen it happen.
yeah, yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Mhm.
Those are the sad, unfortunate situations. It's like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. So are you really going to like kick your child out? Because
Mhm.
they made a mistake. That's the time when they really really need you. You know.
Right.
Child, child,
Mhm.
child, child. But yeah, but they said like raising a child as a single parent can be challenging. Of course.
Yeah.
I said, but there are many things you can do to help your child thrive,
Mhm.
like creating a routine. That
Yeah.
part.
Mhm.
Create a routine. Love that. Um,
Yeah.
it said like children need structure, right?
Yeah.
Predictability. So establish regular like meal times, bedtimes, and chores. And I even like will go beyond like parenting because like even being an educator, like for me that routine and that structure is
Mhm.
like law. Okay, it's like law for me because kids if you don't create that structure and that routine for them, it's like things go left really really quick. It's like okay, all right,
Mhm.
I ain't got nothing to do. You ain't giving me no direction. Okay, I'm gonna just do what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
things go wild and haywire really 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 fast. So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm, I'm real big on that routine.
Yeah, gotta help them develop good habits.
Good habits, good habits. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, it's saying that you like finding like the quality childcare. Like when you need that help watching your child, like even if you working remotely, you still need
Mhm.
somebody to help watch your child. Because how you gonna like do your job effectively if you don't have nobody to care for your child? Because that's definitely gonna impact you. You know.
Right,
Um,
right. Like you said, leave you stressed out trying to spread yourself too thin.
yes, exactly, exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
so people don't even think about that. Like, okay, I'll stay home, and then you still have your kid that still need your support and your care. So how you wanna take care of the kid and try to work too? Even working at home could be challenging. Yeah,
Yep.
so find us somebody to watch them babies. Find somebody to watch the baby. It's saying like spending quality time together is very important when you're
Mhm.
a parent. spending quality time
Yeah.
together. They said set aside time each day to connect with your children.
Yeah, yeah, because you want they don't you don't want them feeling like a burden or
Right,
anything.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So it's like, you still want them to feel important. They still need to feel like they matter and everything. And you know what I'm saying? So building that good relationship, good open relationship, you know, yeah, it seemed like it just be better for them. But if you raise them feeling like, and it's like, you always like fussing at them and stuff, or acting like they in your way, or different things
Yup.
like that and stuff, that's when they be raised with them traumas and psychological issues as they get older.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That part for me was very, very important with the kids. That just even if it was a day at the park, like
Mhm.
trying to raise four babies wasn't easy, and so like I would have to be creative and ways that we can spend time together and still have fun. Feel like they belonged and that I enjoyed being with them. You know,
Exactly.
so we
Yes.
spent, we spent a lot of time doing park picnics in the park, taking them where they could run around, get the balls and frisbees and pack up sandwiches and things like that,
Yeah.
and it worked. And it worked, for us.
Yes.
Like the kids were looking forward to that. Like, are we gonna go do picnic in the park? On
Mhm.
Saturday and stuff like that. Like these are the times they really look forward to. That was like our thing.
Yeah.
It was our thing.
Mhm.
So totally agree with that, spending that quality time together. And I feel like
Right.
when like they were getting older, like when the older kids were able to like start doing their own thing, then I was able to like incorporate more of like doing like the pricey things. That's why I always say like your nephew and your niece, they had like a lot more advantages because then I felt like I was more in a better position to where I can you know treat them to like the Six Flags and teach them to like the more expensive things and stuff like that. Because I didn't have like the older children to really like worry about at that time.
Mhm.
But when they were all younger, it was like, okay, okay, figure it out. Do
Right.
something else, you know, some inexpensive fun.
Yes, yes. Like you said, them parks and you pack them snacks in that backpack.
That
Take a
part.
nice long hike.
Yeah, exactly. Get to run around, rock out, rock out.
Mhm.
They were saying like, get support, like accept help from family or friends, and don't try to do everything yourself.
That
Yeah,
exactly.
yes,
Exactly. And I think that that's huge, you know what I'm
that's
saying? Like I said, just even for one, asking for help.
asking for
Because
help.
sometimes I feel like that be just hard, because sometimes, you feel like you putting your children off on somebody else or, different stuff. But it's important to ask for help because you will overwhelm yourself. And
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, asking for help and learning how to accept it, accept the help
Right,
and
right.
stuff. But yeah, like you said, using your resources and stuff, you know. Yeah,
Yeah,
like cause what's that like, even like, putting them in like the after school programs and all those different things. So there's a lot of resources that I realized that, that I was able to utilize, what I mean,
mhm,
that, was helping them. So, they did like poetry club and, they
mhm.
did music and dance and just all these different things and stuff when they was little. And, and it helped them to be around a lot of wonderful people, so they was
Absolutely.
able to get a lot of good examples and stuff like that, from folks and stuff. And so I didn't feel so alone, with raising them all the time, and
Yeah,
having wonderful partners, too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, like struggling to ask for help. Like I'll accept it if you're like volunteering and you say, "Well, I'll do X, Y, Z." Okay, okay. But I think
Mm-hmm.
it was a struggle for me to really reach out and ask for help, and I will find myself
Yeah.
getting overwhelmed a lot, getting overwhelmed,
Yeah.
trying to figure things out. Feeling stressed in a lot of cases.
Mhm.
Because I didn't say, "Listen, I need your help." You know, um,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
that part that part was tough. That part was tough for me.
Mhm.
But so I would appreciate those that would literally take step in and say, you know what? I'll watch him or I'll do this, something like that, right? It's like I never like turned it down, but it was just
Right.
able to ask for it was struggling for me.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hello, hello. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. And that's taking time for yourself. They said it's important to
Mhm.
step away from your children to recharge.
Be like, "Look, Kyle going, take me away." And sometimes
Right.
it is just a bath. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes that's all you might get is a bath. I remember when they was little though, I feel like I could not get a moment alone, a moment of silence. It's like if I went in the bathroom, they was in the bathroom with me, and it was just like, yeah. I remember being in the tub and them still being in the bathroom. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like it was just like finding, those moments to yourself, especially when they little.
Right.
Man, that was the toughest. But like you said, as they get older.
Yeah.
But what's so funny, like, because having girls, we all still be in the bathroom all the time anyway. It just seemed like that had never changed.
Never.
It's like one in the tub, one on the toilet, one at the sink. You know what I mean? Like it just.
Okay. Yeah. 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 I remember having a lot of cow going to take me away. Be
Yes.
like, "Shut the bathroom, like, don't bother me. Give me 10, 15 minutes. Don't bother me.
Right? Can I get
Yeah.
15 minutes?
Give me 15
Mm-mm.
minutes. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, like you
Um,
said, sometimes it's like that, like whether you are a single parent or not, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? It's like, I mean, if even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Stay-at-home moms and stuff, they be going through all the same, stuff like they're a single parent, you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
dealing with the children, the house, the family, trying to make sure that their self is good, their husband is good, their partner is good.
Yes.
And stuff,
Yes.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, them tips and things, they apply, like, no matter what.
No matter what, exactly. They said communicate with your children. Let them
Yeah.
know about changes. Listen to them. Let them talk about their feelings.
Yeah, yeah. I always let my children like speak. And I remember my dad used to get mad about that because he used to be like, "Oh, you just let your children, talk." And I was like, "Yeah, like I want to hear what they think. I want to hear what they have to say and how they
Right.
feel and stuff,
Right.
you know what I
Right.
mean?" But it was always like, they not allowed to be disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
but I want
I
to
know.
hear what they think. You know what I mean? It's okay, like it was always okay for them to ask questions and we always had real open communication.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my big thing too. Like I had what you consider like that open door policy. Like you can come and talk to me about anything,
Right.
regardless of whether you think it's going to upset me or not. I'd
Mhm.
rather you come to me and let's talk about it because it's for me. It's like that. If I hear about it or find out about it without you coming to me directly, it's going to have a big impact on my reaction or our conversation.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
so I'd rather you come to me whether you think I'm gonna like it or not. Come to me and
Exactly.
talk about it, right? I don't want to hear
Yes.
about it from him, okay? Because you might get a
Mhm.
so, and I remember having those tough conversations, tough
Mhm.
conversations, like it might have been something I might not wanted to hear. And it's like, okay, it's like, but you're utilizing my open door policy to come to me and
Mhm.
talk to me about it, right? I
Yes.
know I can think as I'm saying it out loud, I can think about like having teenagers growing up, especially a young lady,
Girl.
a little girl, right? When she started getting interested in boys.
Mhm.
Right? And I always had this thing that I would say to the girls, like, books before boys, and I would tell my sons girls, grades before girls, right? Like I always
Mhm.
instilled that. But I said the most disappointing thing for me would be if you don't come and talk to me when you feel like you're having these frisky needs. Like, do you feel like that you want to like explore something?
Mhm.
I said because like teenage pregnancies in the house was not going to be acceptable. I was like, we have
Right.
worked too hard, had too many
Mhm.
conversations for you to understand and know what's good and what's not good to do. Okay,
Right.
So
Right.
if that were to happen, I would be totally disappointed. Okay.
Right.
So
Right.
you ever felt like you were having these needs that you need to explore, come and talk to me. And those were
Mhm.
conversations when my daughter come to me with that conversation. But it's like, okay, you're doing what I have instilled in you, what I have talked to you about. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Now it's my job as your mom to get you resources
Mm.
to be prepared.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. You know, you're not out here trying to be sneaky. You're not trying to have me find out after the fact that you come to me like, Mom, you always said to come to me and talk to you. You know, if I feel like exploring, so I'm coming to talk to you.
Mhm.
That way you give me resources and stuff. So those conversations as a single mom, oh my God,
Yes.
those are tough. Yes. And they said like plan for emergencies. Like
Mm.
creating a backup plan and make a list of people you can call for help.
Hmm.
I never did that, but yeah, I
Yeah,
can,
me
I
either.
can,
But you know,
I
but I would tell them, I would say certain things to them or make sure that they had certain phone numbers, stuff like that, and be like, you can call, auntie for this or you can call uncle for that. Yeah.
yeah, I did. Yeah, I didn't have like a concrete backup plan, but I did make sure that well, if you need to call your grandma, stuff like that. Like they knew certain people that they could call if it was a
Right.
situation happened. So
Mhm.
some sort of backup plan. Um,
Right.
they saying be consistent.
Mhm.
Maintain consistency
Yeah.
and treat your children like kids, not as a substitute for a partner.
Mhm. Yeah,
Woo! Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
remember, like, thinking about that, like, so it's like now as my daughters are older, what I mean, it's like, I feel like we're more like best friends, what I'm
right.
saying? It's like, instead of just like mother-daughter relationship, we have a friendship and stuff, But
Yeah.
when they were younger, I remember having to make sure I kept that in mind, what I mean? Like that
Mm,
they are not my peers, what I'm saying?
mm,
And, being careful of the conversations I was
yes,
having,
yes,
with them and, what I
yes,
mean, keeping in mind like, okay, they are children. They are children and,
yes,
so, don't overshare,
yes.
kind of
That
thing.
part.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Mm,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I found that tough too, especially like when you're going through like issues, whether relationship or even with the dad, and
Mhm.
you try to keep the kids out of it. You don't really want them to like be aware or abreast of how you're feeling and the challenges of it or the conversations you might have had with the other
Right.
stuff. I was like, oh my God. Try not to wear it. Try not to wear it. So I think I had
Mhm.
a lot of things from the kids growing up. I had a lot of things from the kids growing up that I was going through and dealing with. That's because I wanted them to stay kids and not be
Right.
affected by a lot of
Right.
things that were happening. So
Mhm.
I totally agree with that. Like, let them be kids. Let them be kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough. So it was tough though. It was some tough moments. And I remember like sometimes I would just go in my room and I would just be like belting out like cries and tears and I know my children can hear me, but they would not like bother me. They would like mommy's having a moment,
Having
so
her moment.
having a moment because I didn't want to never like bother them or burden them with things.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's like I would go and take a drive and
Uh,
literally just be like yelling out in the car.
yeah, mm, mm, mm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's like just anything to just try to get away from them for a moment,
Breaking up,
to
right,
try to
right.
like, so that they wouldn't see all of that or
Yeah,
hear it all and stuff,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, trying to hide it from them.
That was the hardest thing we tried to hide it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Um, it says
Mhm.
stay positive. Your mood and attitude will impact your children. That part.
Right. I
That
do.
part.
It's so true. What I
Yes,
mean? It's so true. It's like if they seeing you, you're down and you're depressed, and the way that you're handling things and stuff is like they start to internalize it. They think it got everything to do with them.
yes, yes,
All kind of stuff. Yeah.
yes, yes. And it's like you said, it's hard. Like you said, you have them positive moments when you got all this stuff happening and you feel like the weight is on your shoulders and you trying to figure it out and you got these little people. Oh man.
Yeah. Yep. Like you said, you trying to help yourself.
It's
You
like you
trying
don't
to.
really have for yourself. Oh my God. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
it's like being that single parent. Woo, that's super
Right,
difficult.
right. That build the extra muscle.
Yes, 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 yes. Um, and they said like encourage positive behavior, help your child develop well by encouraging positive behavior. Like so,
Yeah.
always trying to stay positive. Always trying to stay positive. So, woo, yeah. But
Yeah.
single parent is a whole different animal by itself. And,
Mhm.
and so, like, what are the biggest challenges that a single mom faces? And they
Mm.
said in a recent focus group, single moms agreed that their two most pressing challenges are earning enough money to support their families and having
Mhm.
enough time to spend with their children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that?
Yes.
Because it's like, sometimes you out and like you said, I remember when I had like when I first started making jewelry.
Mm.
And so, it was like, all right, I'm in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'm building this business and all that stuff. And so it was like so much, I was dedicating so much time and attention into just trying to build a business, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
and then the traveling and stuff like that that was happening. And, and I got to those points to where I felt like, okay, like I'm not giving enough time and energy to my children. I'm
Right.
not helping with homework and stuff as much, you know what I mean? Or I'm like trying to rush, through dinner and stuff like that so I can get back to this because I need to study. I need to research and you
Right.
know,
Right.
yeah, it's like just parenting alone just takes a certain amount of like time, effort and dedication. And so when
Yes.
you take on these other things like, trying to, pay the rent and bills and stuff like that, it's like
Yeah.
it just really, be pushing everything else off the plate. And yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a lot to balance.
It definitely is a lot. Oh man, there's definitely a
Yeah.
lot about. Yeah. Cause I, like you said, like even that rent, like I made that decision, like I'm about to buy me a house, cause rent is crazy. It's
Rent is
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. Just trying to
Yeah.
figure that part out was a lot, you know.
Right.
Um, yep. But they said like, what are the disadvantages of children raised by single parents? So they said there's actually disadvantages to it. So let's see what those
Mhm.
are. They said like your child may also like develop behavioral problems being
Hmm.
a parent. And I could kind of see that in two instances, like if you're not wearing that hat as mom and dad, and you're like being strong and enforcing like the routines and the disciplines and things like that you expect. I can see how that could go left. But some like single parents like just might be hyper focused on, okay, I'm just gonna be mom, I'm just gonna be dad, and not create that balance, whatever. So
Mhm.
then kids they understand that realm, like okay, well, like for instance, like a single mom, the child's like, well, I don't have my dad, so I don't have that extra that set of eyes or that discipline or that somebody that's gonna step in, when mom is, doing something or mom is busy and things like that. And I can see how things could like really go left. And I really like tipping my hat off to like men that step in, like when there are single moms with children and they step
Mhm.
in, you know, to be like genuine father figures, to take the
Right.
burden on, to like help with raising the child. So, because you can't
Mhm.
get good, decent men out here that's willing to step in and be a father or a father figure, to
Mhm.
and same thing with moms, vice versa. Like when because you have instances where you have single dads and you have found a decent woman that was willing to step in and be that mom figure to that child.
Mhm.
That part is
Right.
lacking, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, but they said like a lot of them could develop like behavioral problems, could be less motivated. A lot
Mhm.
of them said it even affects them in school and stuff. Um, they said children of single parents may have pent up emotions, like such
Mm.
as grief and anger. Like in
Yeah.
grief, your children might find it difficult to build new relationships. That's
Mhm.
that. especially
Yeah.
if they make this a situation where they used to have like mom and dad, and then they separate or they apart, and then you don't have them anymore. You don't see them as much as you used to, or like I said,
Mhm.
way, and then you had this new person trying to come in. It's hard to like trust or build a new relationship with this person. You know?
Right. Yes. Know
Yeah,
all about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, but
Mhm.
that that they have a such thing as called obsessive single parenting syndrome.
Hmm.
Mm, yeah,
What they
they
say
said
about that?
they said obsessive single parenting syndrome is when you think that there is no one who can parent your children better than yourself, like including your own mother. Oh man, that is
Yeah.
funny.
It's
That
like
is
because you wanna do it, you want to do it. I mean, I
right.
remember kinda feeling like that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, not to that extent, you know what I mean, but just feeling like they needed my input, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, like I.
Yeah, but yeah, they said that's when you're like being obsessive about it. Well, oh, there she falls up. Yeah, but they call that obsessive single parenting syndrome. Um, and they said, are single child parents happier? So they said that all of us might be part of why research has showed that while having one child is associated with gain. The question was, can you hear me?
Yes.
Again, there's a little echo. They said, are single child happier?
You said
It's the all of might be part of why research that while having one child is with the gain of happiness, having a second is associated with the drop in happiness from others. So yeah, and I see like the excitement of like having like that one child, like, oh, you have your first child and you're happy and you want to do all these things, put all these things in place and everything. And then it's like sometimes if you like are satisfied with having one child and then another one comes along, I do feel like that the level of excitement is not as great or as grand as when you have like the very first one. Because I can think about when I like had my first, I was like, wow, like my child's gonna have everything. I'm gonna do all this stuff. My child's gonna like have the world, want to have the world, and being like so like elated, and then you start having like more children, and it's like, okay, now you've been through the trial and error of parenting, and you got all the kinks out, and all that like overstimulation of like, okay, now I'm a parent and stuff. I think it kind of like died down for me. It's like, okay, now I feel like I'm a little pro at it. Now I know I have to step in, because not only do I have one, now I have another child that I have to take care of and be responsible for. So I can see how they said that they could totally be like a drop in like the excitement and stuff like that when you start having like more than like one kid. But it's equally rewarding, because I have like a lot of, I have like two of each, and like I love that even balance, you know, and I feel like it definitely like made me like stronger, and I felt like more prepared. I guess that's the word to say, more prepared, um, with being a mom after going through it for like the first one. I feel like I felt more prepared for the ins and outs of being a parent. The challenges came in with with like the child care and the financial things and stuff like that. But I still felt like a sense of, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Like I got this. Yeah. But they said, like, how do single moms raise good sons? Hmm. So, as being a mom of sons, for me, I could say it was one of those. All right, I had to be mom and dad. Like, I had to really instill things in them that, as a woman, these are things that I should see in a man. These are things that men should do, boys should do. So I just kind of like translated that to them, um, to say, yeah, the same way like I would tell the girls, like books before boys, I would tell the same thing with my sons, like grades before girls. Girls are gonna always be there. Focus on you. I was like, it's hard as a young man out here. It's a lot of like stereotypes, and you're looked at different as a young man. So I would constantly have these conversations with my son. But the experts say that find physical activity, um, that you both can enjoy, like with your son. And I remember like putting, like, especially my youngest son, putting him like in like sports, putting him like in summer camp, things like that. Things to keep him active. Things to keep him active. Things that I know that he enjoyed, that I enjoy seeing him be a part of. So I can totally agree with that. They said don't make him man of the house. Right. I never tried to make my sons be man of the house. They did have their chores, like take out the trash and things like that, wash dishes. But I felt it was very important that I teach them the skills that they needed. Because I say I'm a woman, I'm a mom, and I want you to feel like you are capable of taking care of yourself. Because when you get out on your own, these are things you should know how to do. You should be able to have these skills. You should be able to, do your own laundry, be able to cook your own meal, things that you should be equipped with, like that you don't have to depend on like a woman to do for you. So I definitely instilled that to them, so that way they could be independent and they would know how to do these things. Because you it's gonna be the chance you might get older, get in a relationship, whatever, fall in love, get married, and you might have a woman that don't want to cook for you. She might not want to wash your clothes, but you are able to survive. You know these resources. You know what you need to do. You have these skills. So it's a little different than like trying to make the man of the house. For me, it was just setting them up for success and a necessary skill. Um, it said learning what make boys tick. Yeah. So I've never like seen like my sons get like really upset or agitated a lot, but because I think I kept it like that open communication to where we could talk, and I tried to like keep them busy and let them do things that they enjoy that were not, especially if it was something that wasn't gonna like get them like in trouble and stuff like that. Hey sis.
Hey, I was trying to come back in.
Yeah, but yeah, so I was just basically talking about how you know moms can like raise good sons and things. So they had like these good tips about like finding like physical activity that you both enjoy, and how I would like put the kids in, especially the boys, in like summer camp, like football camp, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And let them be a part of something that they enjoy for the summer, just to keep them busy and active. And I was talking about how they said don't make him man of the house.
Right.
Um, and I never made them man of the house, but I set them up with success to know how to take care of themselves. You know,
Mhm.
to do like the basic things. Like being able to cook. Being able to do their laundry. Being able to take out trash. Just the basic things. Because
Right.
in the real world, nobody's gonna be doing all these things for you. Like especially
Exactly.
you meet that young lady that's like she ain't trying to be doing all that cooking and cleaning. I'm like, but you can take care of yourself. You can survive and fend for yourself. So that's a big difference than making her man in the house. And I do see it in some cases where when it is not like a dad or male figure in, and mom has like a son, and it's like she expected him to like be her protector and do all these extra things, which is not healthy,
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
totally agree with don't make him like man of the house. And
Yeah.
now I'm talking about learning what makes the boys tick. You know,
Mm.
boys can be tricky. Boys can be tricky,
Mhm.
but trying to find that balance of what's gonna make them upset, like what's gonna be their triggers, like what do you think is gonna have that blow up or that escalating moment. You know,
Mhm.
I personally don't recall the boys ever doing it, but I think it was because we had like that open door policy, and we talked about
Mhm.
things, so it wasn't over those opportunities for them to like get upset and have those blow up moments and things. But they said learn what makes them tick. It's a good
Yeah.
to be relatable to your sons that's being a single mom. And they said be willing to leave your comfort zone when it comes
Mhm.
to your son. Be willing to leave your comfort zone.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they said look for good male role models.
Right.
Good male- yeah,
Mhm.
good male role models.
Exactly. They need good examples.
Good example. Um, but they said that it's a lot of negative effects of being raised by a single mom. Like they said, children raised by single moms are at heightened risk of like substance abuse, which I
Hmm.
didn't really know that one. But they
Yeah.
said, yeah, it heightens the children risk of like having substance abuse, depression, anxiety, externalizing behaviors and disorders. I could be one to appreciate and be thankful that I've never had my kids go through any of that.
Mhm.
But they said that it's like a lot of studies that say that it happens like when children are raised by single moms. So
Yeah.
these are like one of those thankful, grateful moments that I think that that God gave me the witherall, and that He protected and kept my kids, in sound
Yeah.
mind. We made good choices,
Mhm.
you know. So
Yeah.
um, it said that what do single parents struggle with the most? And it said without a partner to share the load, that it could seem even harder. That part,
Mhm.
part definitely seems harder. Um,
Mhm.
and they said the most common problems are about money, time, and child rearing concerns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said there's never enough of the first two and too much of the third. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Money,
Yeah.
time, and child rearing.
Mhm.
it's like it's like being a mom raising kids is like I look back a lot and I say, wow, I did it, I made it through. It's like, man, grateful.
Mhm.
And then you look at your children as adults and you're like, wow, I raised this little person and they are awesome,
Right.
like,
Right. Right. Like I
like they are
did good.
awesome adults, right? It's like I don't know how I did it, but Lord, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Like I'd be so like thankful. They say are single parents happier?
Are they?
I know, are
Mm.
they?
Mm.
They said single parents are just as happy as their married counterparts.
How
They
about
said,
that? Mm.
in spite of the fact that they have more challenging circumstances. Well, I'm very
Mhm.
few of us plan to raise our children alone. Facts.
Right.
It's like you might not be planning to raise your kids alone, but it happens. It happens. But they said that
Mhm.
you happy as someone that's married. I,
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, you learn how to be just as, you learn how to be resilient,
Yes,
and stuff. And I mean, one of the things I used to always like tell them like, we gonna be all right.
gonna be all right.
Like we
You're
gonna
gonna
be
be
all right.
yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But they said like, so which children are most likely to be raised by a single parent? What you think?
You said like what children
are most
like
likely to be raised.
culturally?
Yes, to be raised by single parents.
I think, it seemed like black culture go through it the most, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they said
but
back.
I got a lot to say about that though too. I be feeling like it's because the attack against black culture, you know what I mean, against black men, you know what I mean, to arrest as many of them as possible and
Yeah,
stuff, you know what I mean? And so, it just seemed like that, you know what I mean, a lot of, black moms have just been left to kind of fend for themselves, by way of, the justice system, you know what I'm
mhm,
saying? And, guys out here wanting to be players and all that stuff and everything too,
yes,
but there was this like attack on black culture.
uh-huh,
So I say black folks.
yes, yes. They said Black American, Indian, or Alaska Native kids are most likely to live in a single parent family.
Wow.
Well,
Mhm.
60% and 50% of these children fitted their demographic. Yeah, yeah. It's our reality. It's our so yeah. And they said that like children in single parent homes can often feel a sense of loss due to the fact that a parent is alive.
Say that again.
They said that children parent. Yeah, your thing is echoing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I knew
Okay.
something went wrong because I got a phone call and it seemed like that throws things
Okay.
off.
Yeah. That children in single parent homes can often feel a sense of loss due to the fact
Oh,
that a parent is absent from their lives.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like that, like, because that was something that I made sure that I spoke to my daughters about a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I was always trying to get their dad to be a dad. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I used
Yeah.
to talk to him about that, being
Mhm.
like, but it seemed like for him, it was like, all right, well, if you don't want them to experience that, then we should be together, kind of thing. But it was
Wow.
like, yeah, you know what I mean? But it was like I just couldn't, you know, that relationship just was not working. And
Yeah.
so it was
Sometimes.
like, all right. And then trying to have the conversation with him, like, okay, like can we focus on being parents to our children? Can we focus on the co-parenting?
Yes.
And I just felt like he was just so against, like he was just against it. It was like, like since he wasn't getting his way, it's like he wanted to make sure I also wasn't going to get my way.
That
You
part.
know, it was like, okay, you don't want this. All right, well, go and be a single parent then,
Right?
kind of
It's
thing.
like, girl,
And it was like, wow, like, yeah, yeah. And it was
horrible.
like, all right, yeah, it was like, all right, well, you lace up my bootstraps and do what I have to do. You know what I mean? But I did definitely, try to make sure I just like talk to my girls as much as possible because I used to think about that sometimes, them feeling that lack, but I also didn't want to dwell on it. I didn't want to, what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to attract that feeling of lack too by talking about it all the time and stuff,
Right.
too. So,
Right.
but just kind of letting them know, like, all right, just as best I could, as a single mom
Yeah.
and, like you said, having, good people around them and stuff,
Right.
so that they could still, see those examples and stuff. And, yeah, I always liked for them to see, like even like dealing with other couples and, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Wanted them to be able to get a look at that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's like certain situations don't allow for the parents to be together. you know,
Mhm.
happens a lot. It happens a lot, and it does force a lot of single parent situations. But that's when it's
Yeah.
your job to create that balance. Create that sense of
Mhm.
balance. For the child. Allow them to
Yeah.
express how they feel about it. Because like you said, being a mom, like there could be a situation where I can't be with this guy. You know, or
Mhm.
like single dad might have to step in, take care of the kid. The mom just can't be a part of it. So it's
Mhm.
you know aspects too. why you are a single parent. You know,
Yeah, yeah, and it's like even like I remember, it's like when they was little, I feel like I was begging, I mean, like just be a father to your children,
see,
and I mean, and it's like and just how much he was going against that, it just
see,
made me feel like, all right, like this is all that is even why we're not together.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
that part.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So okay, see, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. I want to do what I gotta do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they said that you can like creating a work balance life as a full time single parent is like asking for help from family or friends, right?
Mhm.
Like setting boundaries between your work and your home life. Setting
Right.
a boundaries. Leave work with work and home. Yeah. So I tried to like distinguish that. Like once I got in that door, like okay, now I'm gonna focus on my kids, focus on making sure dinner's done, making sure homework's done, just trying to
Mhm.
separate the work. Sometimes it gets tough, especially like when you have a certain type of job or something and you bring in your work home, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Or even like when you're doing things like I went back to school when they was really little,
yeah,
and so it was just like, those different little things that I was doing trying to advance myself.
hmm
It just like put a lot of pressure, like I said, just on the household and on the parenting and stuff.
yeah,
Yep, yep. And even times when I had help, because it's like, because help be help, but
yeah,
it's like it's still a lot for you to have to do.
right, right,
Yeah.
right, yeah. And they said like find time for yourself, which is it's tough as a single parent to find time for
Mhm.
yourself. It was definitely tough for me,
Yeah,
having young kids. I started being able to live and do a lot more when the kids got older, but it was tough when they were young. Definitely tough.
yeah.
And they said, and designate special time with your children. That's
Mhm.
child, you know. That for me was huge. That was huge
Right.
because like doing like movie day stuff like that. And I always laugh and tease Tonio about it. Like it's like you had it so good because you were like the last of the Mohicans. So the
Yeah.
older kids were doing their thing. So you really got to reap a lot of the rewards.
Mhm.
Just doing mommy and son day. Like we did so many things as mommy and son together. And it was like I felt like when he got like to those teens like 17, 18, it's like okay, then it was like, all right, now I'm gonna back up a little bit. It's
Yeah.
like that urge to want to do mommy and son things will get less and that's enough. So it's like when you got your especially your sons that want to hang out with mom is so cool. Like when they get that certain age, it's like, oh my god, like this, like all right, now I'm too cool for school. I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, but I remember those days. Like Sonia would literally remind me, like, Mom, when we go do our mommy and son movie date and stuff
Aw.
like, because that was our special time. That was our special time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said like, what is the biggest issue with single parenting? And they saying life in a single parent home, though it's common, very common, can be quite stressful for the adult and the children.
Yes. Yep.
Facts.
Mhm.
Yeah. The single parent may feel overwhelmed of the responsibilities. Yes.
Yeah.
So they say of juggling, like caring for the kids, maintaining the job, trying to work, keeping them
Mhm.
bills paid, household.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Keeping up
Facts.
with the house.
Yes. Facts. Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Facts. Yes. 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 Child. Whew. Yeah.
Mhm.
But they said like one of the biggest challenges of being a single parent is the financial instability, and that's true. And a lot of
Yeah.
like sometimes if you weren't prepared for it, and you don't have like that high paying job and stuff like that, it could be really tough. Really tough. Like
Yeah, yeah, that was one of the things I felt like with their dad, like say, like if I needed money right away and it's like he could say no or okay in 2 weeks or something. And you know what I mean? And it was like I was never able to put things off,
yeah,
like that. It's like,
exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, no, like that bill is due today, or what I mean, like the landlord want the rent this day. I don't have that grace. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like he just felt like he had all this grace in the world and could do what he felt like doing or not. You know,
right.
it was like,
Yes.
yeah.
It's like we still got to figure it out. Whether they're gonna help or
Right.
not, you still got to figure it out, right? Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, they say raising a child is expensive.
Mhm. A
Heck,
daily cost of living. They eat every day.
every day. Like paying for childcare, buying food, buying clothes,
Yes.
doing it
Yes. Keeping
alone.
them warm.
Yeah.
Everything. Yes.
So much, so much. Oh my goodness.
School
So
supplies. I was
that
like, it was just everything all the time. Yeah, they constantly growing and needing more.
abs- absolutely. And then the what is the largest cause of stress of a single parent? It says it's various factors that contribute to it.
Hmm.
The onset of it, but they call it single parent stress syndrome.
Mm,
Single parent stress syndrome. Like the first and most obvious cause is the pressure of parenting alone without support of someone to share the responsibilities or offer
right.
emotional support.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's like just even the thought of it, just on your own can just wear you out.
Yes, yes, just the
Hmm.
thought of it. Yes, like Lord Jesus, child. Woo! But they said they have a thing it's called poly parenting. You ever heard of that?
No, no, I haven't, but it makes sense.
Poly parenting. Yeah,
Hmm.
they said like it's if the family's expanding because some parents are living with polyfamily households. That means it's multiple people like giving birth and caring for all the children under one roof.
Mhm. See, I
Under
think
one
of
roof.
that as like that like community living. Like I remember
Right.
at one time when like said just wanting to like I felt like a bunch of us single moms wanting to all chip in together
Right.
and rent like this really big house.
Uh huh.
And the people that I was looking for to do it with, it was like, all right, like this person is a chef, this
Okay.
person, different people bringing in their different skills so that we can
Yes.
all take part and help out with the children and stuff, really really creating like that village in this big house.
Yes. Yes. But what
Yeah,
they
it
call
didn't
it?
work out because, sometimes like connecting with people can be difficult sometimes, but that was the idea, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely understand. Like you know how you say everybody under one house and one household, or everybody got these different responsibilities. Like people are literally doing that. Literally doing that.
Yeah.
They call it their poly parenting. So yeah,
Mhm.
it makes sense. I see why people do it. I see why
Yes.
people do it. Yes.
Yes.
And they have a such thing as called the single nest syndrome.
Mhm.
Empty nest syndrome. So it's like they call the empty nest syndrome is like when the grief their parents feel when their children move out of the house.
Mhm.
It's,
Look,
it's the,
I'm like, look, there's ways to get over that. You know what I'm saying? Shoot. You
right?
better get you a hobby. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Start hanging out with your friends and
yes,
things. You know what I'm
yes,
saying? But
yes.
let them go ahead and go.
No, spread the wings
Let
and
them
fly.
be like, go ahead and fly away.
I away. I away.
Right.
Yeah, they said this condition is typically more common in women.
And women, of course.
The
Yeah, because they done
primary
spent
caregiver.
it's like you done spent so many years of like
Yes,
doing for people, being needed in that kind of way. And you really do
yes,
forget yourself.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's real. That's real. It's like I'm excited that the kids are grown and they're doing their own thing, but I still have one at home that, probably should be trying to figure things out, but am I ready?
How
Am I
about
ready
that?
for that? I'm like, not quite ready for
Yeah.
it's the key to unity, peace, happiness, and
Thank
stability.
you, 8.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh.
Yes, yes. So I'm like, am I going to get a sense of that emptiness syndrome? I'm like, I'm not single, but it's just
Mhm.
the fact, like my last one finally spread their wings and flying away. Like, yeah, because when
Mhm.
they get out on their own, child, you know how they do them independent lives, and it's like you got
Uh-huh.
when you gonna come home, when you gonna come see me, type of stuff,
Mhm.
child. Whew, that
Yeah.
struggle is real, real, real. It's
Yes.
like, wow, they get caught up in their lives, child. Mm,
Yes. That's the thing.
child,
It's like, just don't forget about me. That's it.
don't forget about me, okay?
Yeah. You're like, remember, I'm here.
Yes, yes, child. Yeah, that's for me. That's for me. Yeah, but yeah, they said like, um, there's a lot of different ways to get through the whole
Yeah.
single parenting and all that good stuff. So
Mhm.
and they tell you
Yeah.
like a lot of ways that you can like get through and stuff. Um, but they were saying like just our kids better off if the parents stay together.
Not, I
Which
mean, not necessarily, what I mean, like you say, because, if as long as it's not a toxic home, as long as it's not, a toxic relationship, because that's not good for the children either.
right,
Like you said before, in other videos, how when your daughter was like, like, mom, like, why are you still with dad?
right.
I mean, kind of thing,
Yeah, that was
right?
real. That was
Hmm.
literally like I knew like I kept trying to remove myself from the relationship because I knew it wasn't healthy. I wasn't happy. It was a lot going on in the relationship.
Yeah.
Um, but their dad was making it so difficult though. He
Yeah.
was like making it hard to get away, making it hard to get away. It's up, and
Hmm.
he was like, okay, well maybe it's best that we just try to like work through whatever's going on, even though I'm not happy. Like I don't want to put my kids through this because he clearly
Hmm.
was trying to like separate the family. If that's the easy way to put it. It was like, okay, I know all this stuff is happening and he's doing all the stuff he shouldn't be doing. Okay, but it's like I still want
Hmm.
to be in the same household as my kid, right?
Yeah.
Wake up moment was like, when she said to me, like, why are you still married to my dad? I'm like, wow.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Then
Yeah, I
didn't
know
have
this.
no, go ahead.
Oh no, this woman, she was telling me a story about, she divorced her husband after 35 years.
Yeah.
Um, that she was saying how, like how her children was like, mom, like, you should have had left him a long time ago, kind of thing and stuff like that. Like, but she was staying with him. She had stayed with him for so many years because of the children
Yeah.
and stuff, what I mean? But she said that she said she was miserable. Like she was
Ah,
miserable the whole time. She said her
mhm.
children, she felt like they, it's like they respected the situation of them, trying to like stay together and stuff, but it's like, but they didn't respect, what I mean, her because of everything that she like put up with the whole time, kind of thing and stuff. So I don't know. It's like, yeah, like I feel like if there's a situation where you're not being fulfilled, it's not good for you. Yeah, it's like, the children, they'll understand.
Yeah. I know mine's definitely did. And they were much happier. They were much
Right.
I just see like a shift. Like
Hmm.
like we're finally like free. Mommy's happier. She's not upset. Like I just seen like a shift like in the kids.
Yeah.
Like when that break free moment finally happened. But they said like
Hmm.
if spouses can like co-parent positively and keep their personal differences at bay for the sake of kids, they said that it's good for the kids. Um,
Yes,
but if not, the kids may be better served through an amicable divorce or separation or something like that. Which I
exactly.
think it worked out better for my kids. I can honestly say that.
Right.
So much toxicity happening in the household,
Hmm.
stressful. It worked out better. I think the kids thrived and flourished a lot
Right.
more, without
Right.
having that animosity and stuff, that anger going on in the household.
Exactly. What time is it? We went over, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yep, yep.
Hmm.
But this is a great. conversation, and they definitely like was saying that there's a lot of like advantages, to being a single parent, like positive parenting as an
Mhm.
advantage of it, like having a close relationship with your children or your child, giving them that undivided attention. You had that freedom to make decisions, right? Financial management, like when it's just you doing everything, you can manage things a lot better and stuff.
Mhm.
Being able to do self care when you can, and not feel like you're being pulled all over the place. It's important for take care of
Mhm.
yourself emotionally and socially and stuff. And then you get a lot more like different resources too when you're like a single parent trying to
How
figure it
about
out,
that? Mhm.
resources and stuff. Yep. But
Yeah.
that's a topic that I'm sure many people probably can relate to. Because that's real
Yeah.
talk. That's real life situation and stuff. But you can do it. Like let's look at us. We're proof and living witnesses to say that you can do it. You can do that
Yeah.
single family thing. Whether you're a mom or dad. You just
Mhm.
by no ways is it easy. By no ways,
Right.
but having
Yeah.
that
So
ability,
it's like it's nothing that it's not something that people normally choose, but it's something you
right?
can definitely handle. Yeah.
It's doable. It's definitely doable. Getting that
Mhm.
support system, and most of all, taking time for yourself. Taking time for yourself.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I've learned from this is that you have to take time for yourself to take care of you. Because if you're all
Mhm.
depleted and you're not really good to be there for your child or your children. So yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. But that was our topic today. Being
Mhm.
kids and children. This is so much that could come with that. That's a conversation you can talk about a long,
On
long,
and
long time.
on.
Say about that topic, being single, raising children, because there's a lot that come with it. There's a lot that come with it. But yeah, but I am so grateful that we were able to sit down and have this sister talk and
Yeah.
and talk about something that we know a lot about.
A lot about.
A lot about. Yes, and I thank the audience for being a part of this live because you could have been anywhere in these YouTube
Yeah.
streets for a part of our live. And for that, so grateful, so thankful,
Thank you.
so thankful for you being here. Yes, and we do this on Sundays at 3 o'clock where we talk about all different type of stuff. You never know what we're gonna talk about. You never know what we're gonna talk about. But yeah, but I definitely enjoy getting together and
Yeah.
having these discussions. So
Yes.
I I hope that you will tune in to us next Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m.
Mhm.
Eastern Standard Time. And if you have not done anything for yourself, please do something for you. Take care of yourself. Self care is so important. And I
Yes.
want you to have a great rest of the day and an amazing week. Okay. So
Mhm.
until next time, take care.
Take care.
We appreciate you.
Peace.
Yeah.